Hi everybody, I hope you guys are doing well. Today we are talking about resources and how to manage resources. Okay, so resources are things that you can use to get something else. It's kind of like just a broad definition. So a resource is something that you use in order to acquire something else. So really like the big example that you probably think of right away is money. Okay, money is an example of a resource because it lets you purchase other things that are necessary for success. So, right, you need money to buy food, you need money to buy clothes, to buy shelter, you need really money to buy pretty much anything. So that's really why money is kind of like a prime example of what a resource is. It's something that you use to get something else. Okay, but there's 7 types of resources that we're going to talk about. The first is human resources. Human resources are the resources people provide that things cannot. The resources people provide that things cannot. So for example, knowledge. Okay, knowledge is a human resource because other things can't provide that knowledge. Okay, you can say talent, right? Human talent that you have, that's a human resource. Physical and intellectual abilities, those are human resources. Time, energy, personal character, right? The person that you are is a human resource because other stuff can't replicate what your human character is, right? Then there's non-human or capital resources. These are things such as money, which we talked about, clothes, cars. Okay, each of these are considered resources. Clothes are considered a resource because you need clothes in order to be able to go out in public, right? You need cars or vehicles, or we could even just say transportation because you need transportation to get to school, you need transportation to get to your job, right? So you need transportation to get to where you need to go. So that's considered a non-human or a capital resource. Then there's technological resources. These include everything from computers to automated teller machines to medical equipment. So any kind of technology related thing, that's a technological resource. You can consider computers, you can think of AI, right? There's a big push for AI right now in the world. More and more things are getting developed for artificial intelligence. So those are technological resources. Okay, fourth are community resources. These are services that the government provides, such as public parks, right? Those parks those aren't just maintained out of nowhere, right? Those are maintained by public people who work for your town, probably, right? Public parks. Schools are provided by the government, libraries, police and fire departments. These are all examples of community resources provided by the government. Now, there's also some cases where maybe there's a large company or a large corporation who may also provide like a park or something like that. So in some cases, a corporation could provide a community resource as well. Okay, but primarily it's like a government thing that they provide. Okay, 3 more. Natural resources. You've probably heard of natural resources like in maybe your social studies class or maybe a science class or possibly even language arts, I don't know. But these are things that exist in nature and are available for everyone. So if you think of things that are available for everyone, well, the air that you're breathing is a natural resource. Water, right? Water's everywhere. It consists of, I don't know how much percent, like 70%, or I want to say, of the earth, right? There's water all over the place. Wildlife, minerals, plants, okay? All these things are examples of natural resources because they exist in nature and are available forever. Now, you could argue that water might not be as available for everyone on Earth, right? But for the most part, water is available to most people on Earth, right? So that's a natural resource. Okay. Now there's 2 types of natural resources. There are renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Renewable resources are natural resources that can be recreated in unlimited quantities, right? So things that there's no limit to. Okay. 2 examples of that: air, right? We're probably never going to run out of air, at least not in our lifetime. And then there's sunlight. Now you could argue that the sun is slowly burning up and it's slowly going away, but that's so slow that it's probably going to take billions and billions of years for the sun to actually burn up. Okay, so we can probably consider sunlight also to be a renewable resource. Okay, water probably is also a renewable resource because that's going to be around forever, probably. And then there's non-renewable resources as well. These are natural resources that are in limited quantities and could one day be used up. So it's kind of a big push right now in the world of finding sources of energy that are renewable, right? There's a big wind power push, there's a big solar power push, because we know that things like oil and coal, those are things that are in limited supply and they're one day going to run out. Okay, so those are examples of non-renewable resources. One day they're going to run out, which is why it's probably good to start finding renewable sources of energy. Okay. It's also then important to be able to understand how to manage your resources. Not everybody has access to the same amount of resources, right? So people are born in different situations. Some people are born into wealthy families. Some people are born into poor families, right? Some people have access to more money than others. That's just the life that some people are born into, right? A lot of times the circumstances have to do with how many resources that you have available to you. So it's important to understand how to manage your resources. Okay? So an example I have is some people who claim to be broke, right? Now, I understand not everybody who claims to be broke or are spending their money unwisely, but some people claim to be broke, but they spend. If you look at how they spend their money, they're spending their money, the money that they get, on things that are kind of frivolous or unneeded, right? A prime example I can think of would be Starbucks. Okay, don't get me wrong. Every now and then I like to have Starbucks myself. There's some drinks that I really enjoy from Starbucks, but if we're going to be honest, Starbucks is a waste of money. It is very expensive. A lot of people simply can't afford Starbucks, but for some reason every day they have to go and get their Starbucks fix, and it's a lot of money that they rack up every single day, and that's possibly part of the reason. These are the same type of people who are struggling to pay their bills. Maybe they've racked up credit card debt for some reason, or they have student loans that they're still trying to pay off, right? But instead of saving their money and being wise with their resources, they're going out and spending money on this habit every day instead of actually saving their money and putting it towards something like their future or something that's important, right? Again, I'm not saying that Starbucks is bad or anything like that, but some people who claim to be broke spend their money unwisely and they don't manage their resources very well. Okay? So not everybody, like I said, not everybody has access to the same resources. So I kind of have an example here. Let's say that you're interested in playing guitar in a band. This is kind of like a scenario that we have here. What could you do if you wanted to play guitar in a band, right? But you don't know how to play guitar yet, and you can't afford lessons. What are some things that you could do in order to first learn how to play guitar so that you can join this band? Okay, I'll give you a minute to think about it. Feel free to pause the video if you need to make a list of a couple of ideas, and then we'll talk about them here in a second. All right, so a couple of ideas that I came up with. You could get a job and earn the money that you need for lessons, right? So you could actually get a job, start getting an income, and then pay for the lessons through that. Another thing you could do is you could find a guitar teacher, right, and offer to work for him in exchange for lessons. Like you say, hey, I'll sweep your floor if you give me guitar lessons or something like that. A third way I thought of is you could borrow a guitar lesson book from a library, like go to the library, see if they have any like lesson books or something like that, and you can try and teach yourself from the book. Okay, an alternative, there's all kinds of lessons on YouTube and online that you could go to teach yourself as well. Okay, so this is one way to manage your resources. If you don't have the money right away to pay for something, you got to think creative. Think of the resources that you do have. How can you use those resources to achieve your goal of being able to play guitar in this band? Okay, all right, so your assignment is the Chapter 2 case study that's posted on Canvas. This is the end of Chapter 2. Let me show you how to get to this. So you're going to go to our Canvas page, click on the Modules tab, and then scroll down to today's date. Okay, so today, it might be Friday, or you might be looking at this on Monday, but you're going to click on the Chapter 2 case study that's right here. What that's going to do is there's an embedded Word document right here in Canvas. You're going to make sure to click Edit Document. For this, I would just say click the first thing, because then you'll be able to just enter your answers right here in Canvas, right? So you're going to read through this, determine if Melissa behaved appropriately or not in this interview, and then you're going to just type your answers right here in each of these boxes. Okay, there's 4 questions. When you are done, then there should be a submit button right up here in the top right that you'll click to submit it. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I'll see you guys later.